Speaking there to a group of journalists, Joseph Akable, our court correspondent, asking him directly whether or not he believed that the team of lawyers representing John Dramani Mahama was deliberately trying to delay the process. He says this is indeed his belief. He goes on to say that what really happened was that they made this application at 2:40 p.m. yesterday, which demonstrated that they really wanted to delay the process. Joseph Akable has joined us, and he's going to give us, shed some more light on that. Joe, so first of all, tell us, the Supreme Court has dismissed John Dramani Mahama's application. What does that mean?
So you are not the one with the light.
Right, Joseph Akable, our court correspondent, will be joining us very, very shortly so that he can answer some of our questions related to some of these cases. But the Supreme Court has given till tomorrow 9:30 a.m., as you heard Frank Davis say there, for this case to continue, specifically with case management and pre-trial. Joseph Akable has joined us. Joseph, so what is the meaning, really, of the Supreme Court's dismissal of John Mahama's application? Right, Joseph, can you hear me? Do I have Joseph Akable?
Hello?
Hi, Joseph, are you there? Right, it seems like we are finding it difficult to hear Joseph Akable at this end of the conversation. He, of course, the journalist who just finished questioning Frank Davis, who's lawyer, Frank Davis, a member of the legal team for the president. And he'll be joining us to give us some more clarity on some of these issues. We understand he's with us currently. Joseph Akable, are you there? Right, is Joseph there? Unfortunately, we seem to have lost Joseph Akable. We'll go back to him when we have him so we can get those issues. Currently speaking is Dominic Ayine. Dominic Ayine, former Deputy Attorney General.
Let's take an application for interrogatories based upon the existing rules. And if you listen carefully to what the Chief Justice said, that given the new rules, that is CI 99, we could no longer bring an application for interrogatories in respect of election petitions. That really is surprising to a lot of us as lawyers, because basically what the court has done is to overrule its own decision in the 2013 election petition without according reasons as required by the Constitution and existing practice and precedent. We think that the court sidestepped the basic issues that were brought before it. We think that the issues were very relevant because they went, they go to the meat, the integrity of the pleadings that were filed, that is the petition as well as the respective answers. And in fact, if you were listening, counsel for the first respondent did admit that our interrogatories were relevant, because he said that those interrogatories raised issues that had been answered by their answer as well as the answer of the second respondent. And so for us, relevance was key to the application that we brought, and we're very shocked that the court did two things. First of all, by sidestepping its own decision in the 2013 election petition, one, by a 9-member panel. Okay, that decision was cited by learned counsel for the petitioner, Mr. Tachuchi Kata, to the court. And then secondly, by implying that there has been kind of an implicit amendment of CI 47 that we think is very I don't want to use strong language, but I think that it is legally unacceptable, legally untenable. So we have requested for the ruling of the court, and we have I told the court that we will advise ourselves with respect to the ruling.
Your colleague, Mr. Chikata, was asking for more time in order to get the ruling before the case proceeds. Is it your contention that this ruling potentially has an impact on the matter and how it proceeds?
That is so, and as he said, he indicated to the court that we're going to advise ourselves. So we'll look at the ruling more carefully in light of existing precedent, and then the statutes that were cited by the court itself, and then we will come back to the court to find, to determine whether or not we will ask the court to take a second look at its own, decision.
Your colleagues demonstrate the crucial issue of relevance in the first matter. They said you couldn't demonstrate the crucial issue of relevance.
No, we didn't need to even. I think that Mr. Chikata eloquently dealt with the issue of relevance. By, for instance, taking the court through, step by step, the relevance of each of the questions that we wanted the Electoral Commission, to answer. And then also, when Learned Counsel for the first respondent was on his feet, he himself pointed out quite clearly that the issues we raised were contained in their answer. And our application for interrogatories was basically to elicit answers that will lead to an expeditious determination of the matter, so that we don't have to take them to cross-examination and have a lengthy trial, as you saw in 2013. And that is why we wanted to narrow down the issues and make sure that, when we next time we are in court, we are dealing with very specific factual matters before the court.
We spoke to your colleagues on the other side. We spoke to your colleagues on the other side. They make the point that you don't need a ruling to proceed, and that they believe that you don't want an expeditious hearing.
No, we are committed to an expeditious trial. In fact, our application, on the contrary, was the one that was designed to lead to an expeditious trial. And we are very ready for this trial. They should not, they thought this was going to be a walk in the park. And what they saw today is just a tip of the iceberg. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And so we have been
live on JoyNews today. So Dr. Dominic Ayine, who is a member of John Dramani Maham's legal team, former Deputy Attorney General at Ministry of Justice, saying there that they had no intention of delaying the trial. They say they want an expeditious trial, just as much as the lawyers on the President and Electoral Commission side do. He says that today was just the tip of the iceberg. And then he made the point that Chachu Chikata made earlier in court, that by the Electoral Commission's lawyer admitting that there were responses to some of these questions in their response that had been written out for the court, he was admitting then that the interrogatories were indeed relevant. Well, Joseph Akable has joined us. Joseph, if you can hear me, first of all, the basis for the Supreme Court's dismissal of John Maham's application.
So the court explains that the application was essentially premised on CI 47, which is the High Court rules that the Supreme Court adopted during the 2012 election petition. The court says since then there has been amendments, and currently CI 99 is in operation, and those amendments create a situation whereby the court has to exercise the discretion in order to conclude whether or not to admit such applications or not. And as far as the court is concerned, a case for relevance in this particular instance has not been made to enable it to grant this particular request. So it was on that basis that the court said that it's not granting the request for the interrogatories to be served on the Electoral Commission.
And as Dr. Dominic Ayine explained later, it was their expectation that these interrogatories will be accepted because there is no process really for interrogatories to be filed in CI 99. That's the case.
Yes, and he was saying that he finds it great in that the court appears to have done two things. One, it has shut the door on such applications, and number two, it has departed from its own decision in 2012-2013. And so he says that the rules and the Supreme Court, the Constitution for that matter, allows the Supreme Court to depart from its own decision, but it must state the reasons. And that is why Mr. Chikata was asking for more time, because he wanted access the decision of the court in order to inform our next line of action whether there will be validity of that decision or not. But the court always took the view that they should come back tomorrow and file the random of issues whenever the trial to proceed. And so they say that they are looking for a suggestion at the decision of the court in order to decide what to do next.
Right. That gives an indication that they may want to contest the decision of the court in this application, does it not? Because Mr. Chikata said repeatedly that they would advise themselves when they read the ruling.
Yes, he did indicate that they will advise themselves, and Dr. Yunus says the only way they can decide what line of action to take next is when they have access to the documents. And so the decision of the court, which will state the reasons for its conclusion, and once they have that, they are able to take a decision on what to do next. And so in terms of seeking for a review of that decision, it's an option they are considering, but they will all start with getting the reasons that the court attached to this decision, and that will inform them on the next line of action, Daniel.
Right. Finally, Joseph, before you go, tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m., this case continues with case management and pre-trial. We understand that some issues will be laid out. What exactly is expected to happen in court tomorrow?
And so, in simple terms, when they make reference to this, what is going to be done is that a petitioner has filed a case, a respondent has responded, and so the court compares all the issues. The lawyers make proposals from what they think are the gray areas, the controversial issues, the issues that are of contention. So those issues need to be stated explicitly in order for the trial to commence. And so once those issues are agreed on, the issues that the people agree that if those questions are answered by the court, it resolves the matter. And so that forms the starting point for the trial, in that all evidence must be led to answer the question that the court and the parties will agree is the question that ought to be answered. And so both sides will come with their proposed issues. They are going to read it out to the court after penning a 2012 petition. Then the court will decide on whether those issues are germane or whether they are not. And so once they agree on which ones are critical, then those issues will be set as the main issues to be determined in the course of this trial. Then from there on, the trial takes off, where you will now have to read evidence and rebut presumptions, all in relation to those questions that will be set down for answers to be given.
Joseph Akable, thank you very much, and we'll be with you tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. at the Supreme Court so we can get a better understanding of this case management and pre-trial as you explain now. You're live on Joy News today with me, Daniel Dazo. We'll take a few messages. When we come back, Darryl Kwao has the details of business.